Michael didn't return to the gym the next night. He kept his head low, pushing his mop through the empty corridors like he always had. The confrontation with Mr. Lancaster played over in his mind on repeat. The man's tone hadn't just been angry, it had been disgusted. As if Michael had contaminated something pure simply by standing near his daughter. The worst part, Emma didn't show up either. Michael assumed it was over. Their sessions had been brief, quiet sparks of connection, but he knew better than to expect them to last. People like Emma came from a world that didn't let anyone like him in, not even for a moment. So, he kept working, keeping his distance, trying to forget. But Emma didn't. 3 days later, she found him. He was scrubbing gum off the floor near the science wing when she appeared, her expression unreadable. "You weren't at the gym." Michael looked up, surprised. "I figured your father made it clear I shouldn't be." Emma shrugged. "He makes a lot of things clear. Doesn't mean he's right." Michael smiled faintly. "Emma, I can't risk your future, or mine. One complaint from your dad and I'm gone. You're the only person who talks to me like I'm not broken," she whispered. "And the only one who doesn't try to fix me with pills or lectures. You saw me. You didn't look through me. That means something." Michael hesitated, then stood. "It does, but if we keep this up, we do it the right way. No secrets, no sneaking around. I'll talk to the principal, explain everything." She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, good luck with that." He did talk to the principal. And, as predicted, she was horrified. "Mr. Bennett, even if your intentions were good, this violates multiple policies. We can't have staff forming personal mentorships with students, especially off the books. You're not even certified." Michael nodded. He understood. "I'll keep my distance," he promised. But he didn't, not because he disobeyed, but because something happened that changed everything. 2 weeks passed. Emma spiraled. Without boxing, without that outlet, she began skipping classes again. She got into a fight with another girl, broke a window during detention, and refused to speak to the school counselor. Mr. Lancaster was called in, again. And this time, the school gave him a recommendation: send Emma to a residential reform school. The idea terrified her, so, on the night before the decision was to be finalized, she waited for Michael in the hallway near the gym. When he appeared, surprise flickering in his tired eyes, she didn't give him a chance to speak. "I need this," she said, voice trembling. "I need you to help me. Please." Michael sighed deeply. "Emma, I'll tell my dad you didn't break any rules. I'll tell the school, but I need to fight, not people, just everything inside me. I need to feel like I'm in control of something." Her words struck him hard. He saw Ellie in her eyes, fierce, hurting, misunderstood. He saw Josh too, the way he sometimes clammed up when grief snuck up on him. So Michael took a breath and did something unexpected. He spoke to Mr. Lancaster himself. Getting a meeting with one of the most powerful men in the state wasn't easy, but eventually, Michael was summoned to the sleek glass and steel headquarters of Lancaster Dynamics. The waiting room alone was bigger than Michael's apartment. Mr. Lancaster greeted him with a cold stare. "I assume this is about Emma." Michael nodded. "She needs help, not punishment, and I can help her, not as a janitor, but as someone who knows what she's going through." "Really?" The CEO sneered. "You think mopping floors qualifies you to advise my daughter?" "No," Michael replied calmly. "But losing someone I loved, giving up everything I built, raising a kid alone, those things qualify me. I don't want anything from you. Just let me train her. Not behind your back, with your permission." There was a long silence. Then, laughter. "Cruel, short. You want me to give my daughter over to a failed coach turned school janitor? I want you to give her a chance. That's all." Mr. Lancaster leaned back in his chair. "If she messes up once more, she's out. Understand?" Michael nodded. "I do. From that day on, Emma trained under Michael's guidance, officially. They met after school in the gym. At first, students mocked the sight, the CEO's daughter throwing punches under the guidance of a janitor. Whispers filled the cafeteria. "Is this her new boyfriend? She's seriously lost it. Maybe he's just bored with his mop." But Emma ignored it, and so did Michael, because something was changing. Emma's grades improved. She started showing up to class early. She helped a younger student carry books. The teachers noticed. Even the principal softened. One day, during practice, Emma turned to Michael and asked, "Why do you still work here?" He paused. Because it lets me pick up Josh from school every day. Because it pays just enough to keep the lights on. And because I gave up chasing dreams when I lost the person I dreamed with." Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded, understanding more than she let on. Then came the school's annual charity showcase, a high-profile event attended by board members, wealthy donors, and even local news stations. Every year, students were invited to perform, musicians, dancers, actors. This year, Emma signed up for something different, a boxing demonstration. It raised eyebrows instantly. "Boxing," the principal repeated, in front of the board. "It's a sport," Emma said firmly. "It saved me, let me show that." She insisted Michael coach her for it. He tried to talk her out of it. It was risky, too public, too bold. But she was determined. "It's time people saw you the way I do," she said. The night of the showcase arrived. The auditorium was packed. The lights were dazzling. Emma stood in the ring set up center stage, gloves on, breathing steady. Her opponent was another student volunteer from the boys' wrestling team. They weren't fighting, just demonstrating combinations, footwork, discipline. And Emma shone. She moved with grace, power, and control. The crowd, expecting a mess, watched in awe. Even Mr. Lancaster, seated in the front row, sat upright, brows furrowed. When the demo ended, Emma stepped forward to the mic. "I was headed somewhere dark," she said. "I felt invisible, angry, alone. But someone saw through that. Not a teacher, not a therapist, a janitor. A man who lost everything but never stopped showing up." She turned and pointed to Michael, standing in the shadows. "He taught me how to fight, not with fists, but with heart. With focus. He saved me." The room went quiet. Mr. Lancaster looked like he'd stopped breathing. And then, applause. A slow, growing wave that swept across the room like thunder. But just as Michael stepped forward, something happened. Emma staggered. Her legs buckled. Michael rushed up instantly, catching her before she hit the mat. Panic erupted. The nurse ran over, followed by teachers. She said she had an old concussion, someone murmured. Maybe it flared up, but Michael didn't panic. He gently adjusted her neck, checked her pupils, spoke to her calmly. Within minutes, she was stable, scared, but okay. "She's all right," he assured the crowd. "But she needs rest." Emma's father knelt beside her. "You knew what to do," he said, eyes filled with something Michael hadn't seen before, gratitude. "Maybe even respect." "I've done this before," Michael replied, "more times than you'd guess." The next day, everything changed. Mr. Lancaster asked to speak with Michael privately. "I looked into your past," he admitted. "You weren't lying. You were one of the best. I found footage of Ellie. You trained her. I married her," Michael said softly. A pause. "You gave up everything to raise your son. To keep your wife's memory alive. And then you gave my daughter a reason to believe in herself again." Michael waited for the rejection, the lecture, the line about social classes. But it never came. Instead, Mr. Lancaster extended his hand. "I want to offer you something better. A full-time coaching position. Here, build a program, mentor other kids like Emma." Michael stared at him. "And your daughter, she trusts you more than she trusts me. Maybe I can learn from that." From that day on, Michael was no longer just the janitor. He was Coach Bennett. Students who once mocked him now lined up to train. Emma flourished. Josh even joined the school on a scholarship Mr. Lancaster quietly arranged. And somewhere in the background, Ellie's photo hung in Michael's modest office, her dream finally alive in a way neither of them had imagined. Because sometimes, the ones we overlook, are the ones who change everything. The news of Emma's powerful boxing performance, and her emotional public speech, spread across the school like wildfire. For days, it was all anyone could talk about. Teachers were stunned, students whispered in the halls, and the school board received emails from impressed parents praising Emma's transformation. But no one was more changed than Mr. Lancaster himself. He had sat in that audience expecting a disaster, an embarrassment, perhaps. His daughter, under the mentorship of a janitor, performing something as raw and unpredictable as boxing in front of donors. It sounded absurd, but what he saw instead, shook him. He saw poise. He saw strength. He saw his daughter transformed, no longer bitter and angry, but calm and focused. And then, he saw the man responsible. Not a janitor, not a failure, but a father, a mentor, a fighter. That night, after ensuring Emma was safe and resting, Michael sat quietly in his tiny kitchen, sipping coffee and staring at a photo of Ellie. His son Josh slept in the next room, curled up after staying awake to watch the live stream of Emma's demonstration. Michael whispered, "You would have been proud of her." Of both of them. A knock came at the door. He opened it to find Mr. Lancaster standing there. "I didn't come as a CEO," the man said. "I came as a father." Michael stepped aside wordlessly. They sat in silence for a moment, the tension still thick between them. But the air had shifted. There was no arrogance in Mr. Lancaster's posture, just exhaustion, and maybe, humility. "I didn't realize how far I'd lost her," he finally said, voice low. "Emma, I thought giving her the best education, the best opportunities, the best, everything, was enough. I didn't see the cracks." Michael replied quietly, "You were busy trying to build a future." "I get it, so was I, until I lost mine." Mr. Lancaster looked up, meeting Michael's eyes. "She said you saved her. And when she collapsed in the ring, you knew exactly what to do. You didn't panic. You acted like a father." "I've been one for a while now," Michael said with a soft smile. "You learn." The silence lingered, more comfortable this time. "I want to make things right, Mr. Lancaster finally said. "For her. For you." He handed over a formal envelope, an official letter from the Crestwood Academy board. Michael read it slowly. "Head of Student Athletic Development." He murmured aloud, stunned. "It's a new role," Mr. Lancaster explained. "Part-time, for now. Build a mentorship and athletic program for students struggling emotionally or socially. You'll report directly to the principal, and me." Michael's hands trembled slightly. "Why me?" "Because my daughter didn't change from therapy, discipline, or medication. She changed because someone believed in her. Someone who didn't see her as broken, but strong." Michael didn't respond right away. He simply looked at the letter, then at the man who once ordered him to stay away from his daughter. "I'll take it," he said quietly. "But on one condition." Mr. Lancaster raised an eyebrow. "Which is?" Michael smiled. "Emma keeps boxing." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of change. Michael now arrived at school in clean athletic wear rather than janitor overalls. Students who once laughed now greeted him with shy nods. Parents asked if he could take their kids in for training. He even got a modest office beside the gym. The walls still smelled of fresh paint, and the desk still wobbled, but it was his. Emma, for her part, blossomed. She continued to train daily. Her confidence soared, and she no longer walked the halls with her head down. The girl who once threw tantrums and broke rules now ran laps, corrected her peers' stances, and volunteered to tutor younger students. Michael's bond with her deepened. They talked about grief, about life, about regrets. She opened up about her mother, the emptiness she felt since she left. Michael shared stories of Ellie, her strength, her warmth, how she never backed down from a fight, inside or outside the ring. One afternoon, after an intense training session, Emma asked, "Do you miss her every day?" Michael nodded. "Every single one. But some days, it hurts less. Because I see her, in people like you." She blinked, caught off guard. "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." Meanwhile, Josh, Michael's 12-year-old son, was admitted to Crestwood on a full scholarship. Emma took him under her wing like a big sister. They often sat together at lunch, laughing, teasing, and bonding over the one thing they now had in common, Michael. "He's strict," Josh warned. "But if you listen, he'll make you strong." Emma smiled. "He already has." The three of them, Michael, Emma, and Josh, began spending more time together outside of school. Weekend jogs, homemade dinners, late-night movie marathons. What started as mentorship quietly evolved into something more, a makeshift family. Unconventional, but whole. One evening, during a picnic in the park, Emma turned to Michael as they watched Josh chase pigeons across the grass. "Do you ever think about coaching full-time again?" she asked. Michael chuckled. "Every day, but it's different now. Before, it was about medals and trophies. Now, it's about saving kids from falling through the cracks." Emma nodded. "You saved me." Michael looked at her, emotion soft in his eyes. "You saved yourself, Emma. I just held the rope so you wouldn't fall all the way." News of Crestwood's new mentorship program made headlines. Other schools started calling, asking for advice. The local paper ran a piece titled, "From Mop to Mentor, How a Janitor Changed the Face of Student Support." One morning, Mr. Lancaster arrived at the gym early. He stood by the door, watching Michael train a group of students, including Emma and Josh, teaching them balance drills and breathing techniques. When the session ended, he approached. "I never got to thank you properly," he said. Michael shrugged. "You gave me a chance. That was enough." "No," the CEO insisted. "You gave me back my daughter. And maybe even a piece of myself." Michael offered a small smile. "You've changed too, you know. You actually, listen now, Mr. Lancaster chuckled. "Emma says the same." Then, hesitating slightly, he added, "We're hosting a family gala next month. I was wondering if you and Josh would come." Michael paused. "You sure?" "I am. You're not just her coach anymore. You're family. The gala was elegant. Crestwood's auditorium was decorated in gold and white, students dressed in their finest. Emma wore a sleek navy gown, her hair neatly tied back. Josh nervously fixed his tie every few minutes. Michael, in a borrowed blazer, stood quietly at the edge of the crowd until Mr. Lancaster called him forward. "I want to introduce someone special," the CEO said into the microphone. "Someone who came into our lives quietly, humbly, but left a mark so loud the entire school now echoes with it." He gestured to Michael. "This man isn't just a coach. He's a guide, a light, a fighter. He taught my daughter how to believe again. And he reminded me what it means to show up, even when the world doesn't." The audience applauded. Michael, overwhelmed, simply nodded in thanks. But the real moment came later that night, as the gala ended. Emma approached Michael and Josh, smiling. "Hey," she said, holding out her hand to Josh. "Wanna dance?" Josh turned red. "I don't know how." Emma laughed. "Neither do I. Let's figure it out." Michael watched them twirl and stumble across the dance floor, his heart full. He had come here as a janitor. He stayed because of duty. But now, he belonged. Not just as Coach Bennett. Not just as Josh's father. But as the man who saw a broken girl and refused to walk away. As the man who gave everything, and received something priceless in return. Family.